This is Alex from Developer Relations at Qlik. This will be a short little introductory video to the static chartcacher service. We'll cover a little bit why you want to use it, how to install it, how to get started, and some little parameters and tweaks that you can play around with. So first of all, what is it? This is a small little module that you can plug into your Qlik Sense server installation that will allow you to cache shards. So you can pull them down and you can sort of disconnect them from the full Qlik Sense experience. And this is primarily useful if you have an enormous user base that you want to provide shards to, where you necessarily might not want to license them all, or you don't want to burden your Qlik Sense server with all that heavy traffic. Think, for example, on internet, where you just want to display a KPI number or somewhere else internally that has a high amount of traffic, where it necessarily doesn't make sense to have them all users of Qlik Sense. And this is very much not meant to replace the full Qlik Sense experience. The shards are somewhat interactive, and there's also totally static PNG thumbnails. So if you want the ability to drill around your data, have multiple shards that respond to selection, then Qlik Sense is definitely the way to go. This is primarily a way to distribute information to a large mass of users or people internally. So how do you install this and how do you get this? You can browse to github.com/mindsbank/chartcacher, or you can go on Qlik branch and you can search for chartcacher and you will find it. So this is a totally open source project built by us. So it's open source technology, it's provided free of charge, and that also means it's not covered by the standard maintenance and support agreement that you might have with Qlik. So, since you're watching this video, I'm going to assume you have not read the installation instructions at all. So what you can do is you can go here and you can download the module. So in the interest of time, I have already downloaded. It's about 30 megs, so it will take a little while. So you can download the zip and then you extract that somewhere on a machine that has Qlik Sense server installed. So from here you can browse the module and you can go into and run the little copyfiles.bat. And you need to run this file as an administrator. And what this will do, it will take all the files in the module and then copy it into the correct location on your server. Why we provide a little file for this is because the file paths are so long in the module that the Windows Explorer API will break. So if you try to copy the files manually, you will get an error message. So either you can run this file or you can copy all the files your own with your own little command line if you don't trust this file. So as this is copying, it will take between 1 to 2 minutes. We can actually go back to the repository, because the next step in the process is that we're going to copy this little snippet here. So we will use the Qlik Sense service dispatcher that was introduced in 2.0. And what this will allow us to do is that we can sort of outsource the work to the service dispatcher. So the service dispatcher will run this module, so you don't have to install any kind of additional software. You don't need to go and restart a lot of services and make sure it's up and running. The service dispatcher will just do that for you. So we can copy this snippet and we can then navigate to the service dispatcher, which I have open in the background here. You can find it on wherever you install Qlik Sense, program files, Qlik Sense, service dispatcher. And in here you will find a services.conf file. So we're going to edit this file. So open it up in any kind of text editor that you might have. Wait for it to boot. And from here we can just copy paste a little snippet in here. And what this will tell the service dispatcher is where to find sort of the entry point for our module and what it should run the module with. So in this case, we're going to run it with Node, and this is the entry point for our module. So save this, and we can close it. And we can also see that the copying has finished in the background. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to go into services on the machine, and we're just going to restart the Qlik Sense service dispatcher. This will force the service dispatcher to pick up our new changes. Let it wait for a couple of seconds. It needs to boot up all of the modules, and it will automatically just pull in your hostname files. It will automatically pull in all your certificates and so on and so forth. So as we waited a couple of seconds, we can then see if it's up and running. And to access the the chartcacher service, you browse to HTTPS, the fully qualified name of your Qlik Sense server, which would also be the name you supplied during installation and also the name for your certificates. And then you supply the port 1337. So this is very empty right now because we have not cached any shards. So how do you cache a shard? The simplest way is probably to locate a shard you want to cache. So if you open up the help desk management app here, so after the app was opened, you can just navigate in here, and what we need is a application ID, and we're also going to need a object ID. So I'm just going to use a little shortcut to grab these IDs. You can find that video in the same YouTube channel. And we're also going to grab this application ID. You can of course also use the single configurator that ships together with the product if you find that to be easier. So you'll notice you have the application ID up here in the URL, so we're just going to copy that one, and we can go back here, and the syntax goes sort of the server name / application ID / a shard ID. So we'll pull this up as we already cached it before, and you now have your shard. And what happened in the background was that the chartcacher went out to the Qlik Sense server and fetched the definition for this shard, and has now stored it on disk. If the shard would have been cached previously, the shard module will not go out to Qlik Sense server. It will just take the cached definition of the shard, which can be useful because now all your users are only hitting this module and are not having any kind of RAM impact on your server at all. If you want to force the chartcacher service to refresh the cache, you can just append /no cache at the end, and this will force a new refresh of the server. So typically, if you want to have this update once every day, you can have a little batch job or something that just fetches this URL with a /no cache on the end, and it will automatically pick it up. Now, if we were to navigate back here, we'll now see it actually has cached our little shard here. We can open it up again, and we can see the data in here. What we actually can show you is where all of this is stored. So if you go back to the service dispatcher and then the node folder, you will find the chartcacher module. And in here you will have a public folder, you will have a data folder, and you will have the shard cache. This contains all of your JSON definitions of the cache. So if you for some reason would want to clear out the entire cache, you can just come in here and delete all the different JSON files. You will also have a folder with thumbnails. This will have a lot of pictures, would be the picture representation of your file or of your shard, if you so wish to take this and embed it into documents or more static kind of resources. If you wish to tweak some kind of settings, or you do not have an out-of-box Qlik Sense installation, what you could do is come back here to the chartcacher root and open up the config.js file in a text editor. So we'll open that. And in here you will have a bunch of different parameters that you can tweak to your liking. If you wish to change, for example, the thumbnail size from 800 to times 600 pixels, you can tweak that. If you have a different location where you want to save, for example, the shard cache definitions or the images, you can switch that out. You can also point to a different location for your certificates. So if you're running, for example, custom certificates, you can point this location to, you can point the cert path to that location where you're storing your custom certificates. So that was it. That should get you up and running together with the chartcacher module. And you can of course just keep caching shards. There's no limit to how many shards you can cache. And all the shards that you do cache will show up here. So let's cache another shard just to show you how it works. And if you do try to cache a shard that's not supported, it will tell you. So currently we support line chart, bar charts, combo charts, pie charts, KPIs, scatter plots, and 3 maps. So in the future we hope to support tables and pivot tables as well. Right now that's not really doable. And if you really need to have static tables embedded somewhere else, you probably have more problems than just this module not supporting it. So let's see if we have a different one. Let's pick a different app. I think this will work. we go. Scatter plot. And if we refresh this now, oh, too fast, we now have the executive dashboard here as well. So that was a short introduction to the chartcacher video. I hope you found it useful and that the module will serve you well. Go in peace.